Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonker, and the data is in, and we got some issues that we need to talk about that are happening right now in the labor market. One being, if you are a recent college graduate, this is a horrible headline for you. No cap. The class of 2024 is about to get wrecked by the job market. Let me just do 3 bullet points. The job market appears to be softening thanks to the Federal Reserve, which isn't great news for those hitting the job market for the first time. And if you're hitting the job market for the first time, stay tuned for the end of this video, and I'm going to tell you some tips that I had to use to get a job when we actually needed to try. Bullet point number 2, experts predict roughly 6% less hiring activity this year as companies tighten their belt amid macro uncertainty. U.S. job gains fewest in 6 months as labor market cools. 3 bullet points. Non-farm payrolls increase 175,000 in April. Unemployment rate rises from 3.9% from 3.8%. Average hourly earnings gain 0.2%, up 3.9% year over year. U.S. job growth slowed more than expected in April, and the increase in annual wages fell below 4% for the first time in nearly 3 years. Thank goodness the quantitative tightening is working. And honestly, guys, this would work a lot faster if we didn't have as much government deficit spending. And remember, it's harder, like for us at the bottom, like I'm hurting, I'm feeling the inflation, like I've done so many things and I'm still struggling to save right now. We're paying for the deficit. The deficit spending is making us do more quantitative tightening. The deficit spending is causing us to go through this pain longer. So if you're frustrated and you're feeling the pain right now, we got to vote for the right people. And I don't know who that is, to be honest with you. But maybe if you're frustrated, like Melody always says, we should run for office. I'm not going to run for office. I would never do that to myself, but maybe you should. I don't know. I would support you. Tell me what you think below. Nevertheless, you guys, one of the cornerstones in the job market, Walmart, is doing another round of severe layoffs. As you see here, Walmart will lay off thousands of its workers unless they relocate. Imagine being someone that's working from home and you've moved to another state, and now a year later you got to move back. Imagine that feeling of worthlessness and how you have no control over your life. I mean, people move where they work. It's a reality, but they are starting layoffs once again. Walmart is planning to cut thousands of corporate positions in just Texas and California, the company said recently. Last week, a top Walmart executive told employees that the retailer would slash hundreds of corporate positions and request that the majority of its remote workers, almost all of them, or the majority of them, relocate to one of the 3 of its central hubs, either Arkansas, New Jersey, or Northern California. That's crazy. Walmart also said it will give some employees permission to work remotely, but only on a part-time basis. So they're basically ending work from home. They're done with work from home. They probably smart for doing so, to be honest with you. And take a look at some of these layoffs, guys. Over 200 employees at the Carleton, Texas facility have been laid off and are having to relocate by August 9th. Meanwhile, almost 1,300 employees at the Dallas, Texas facility could be laid off as well. We got about 500 people recently laid off in California, and all of this is expected to start August 9th and go into early 2025. So again, more and more signs of Walmart getting smashed. And that's because of consumer spending. Consumer spending hits Walmart and like these big chains first, right? We can see data. We can kind of get warning. We get warning signs from the data that they're reporting us because again, that's the lower price end of consumer spending. But here's the good news in all of this. According to Walmart, in order to keep the momentum going and to address shoppers' lingering inflation anxieties, Walmart said it plans to slash prices on about 7,000 products. A move employed by Target earlier this week. So both Walmart and Target are going to start slashing prices. That's good because what does that mean? Deflation, right? If they're cutting prices, it's deflation. And that's exactly what we want. I don't see how we can get out of how unaffordable things are without deflation. I mean, because income hasn't kept up. I mean, it's just not practical. It's just not sustainable. But the thing is, guys, it's not just the low end layoffs. We're also seeing insane layoffs in the tech industry. A lot of people are afraid that AI is going to be replacing a lot of workers. And it kind of seems that way when we look at the number of tech employees let go. And if we just start at this year, I mean, look at January was a real bad year for tech employees. I mean, there was 45,000 employees laid off. Now, they may have more than likely gotten severance, so that info probably is not an unemployment. Remember, if you're on severance, it doesn't track you as unemployed. But I mean, that's pretty crazy nevertheless, you guys. And in February, we had about 22,560. That was led by Cisco. Cisco actually laid off in February 4,000 people. Now in January, that was led by SAP, which laid off 8,000 people. Now fast forward to March, the leader that month was Dell, who laid off 6,000 people. Dell reduced its global workforce, laid off 6,000 people. Now April was a doozy. Okay, we're not even out of May, by the way, but April was a doozy led by none other than Tesla. Tesla, massive layoffs here, guys. Massive layoffs with Tesla. 14,000 people impacted. Tesla will lay off more than 10% of its global workforce. That is crippling to Austin. That is Austin's #1 employer. Unemployment is a domino effect. It affects retail. It affects malls, restaurants, fast food, because people can't pay for that stuff no more. So if it's a high concentration in a small area, it's going to have devastating impacts. Now, the #2 leader was here, Gitter, and then followed by Toshiba. Toshiba is in some trouble, it looks like. Toshiba cut 5,000 jobs in April. Now, fast forward to May, Toshiba is also doing another 4,000 jobs that they're removing as well. So Toshiba, something's going on there. But the #1, it looks like LI Auto, 5,600 people impacted, you guys. Paytum, 5,000 people impacted, which should not be surprised. The reason why we see headlines on how great the labor market is because technically the unemployment rate is only 3.9. But almost every single person, especially if you're watching this, feels the inflation. We see it coming. I see it coming. I've done so many things to get ahead of this, and I still feel the pain. And the pain hurts. I won't lie. Layoffs will cripple housing market, especially if it starts getting out of control. And the Fed, and looking back at unemployment, y'all, I don't see a time when the Fed has had control of unemployment. Usually unemployment spirals out of control. That's why generally, if you want to plan on winning through a recession, you got to plan before the recession. If you plan during the recession, odds are things are going to be a lot harder. But my point in all this is not only is the Federal Reserve crippling small businesses, the consumer is not making any more money, and therefore the show can't go on for much longer. We are in a consumer spending based economy to where 70 to 78% of the GDP of the entire United States is from you and I spending. It's from our spending. And so the fact that we don't have that money growth to spend, which means it's not sustainable so long as we continue this trajectory. Look at the income. So once again, here's real median family income. This is adjusted for inflation. It peaked in 2019. 1, 2, 3 years later, it's lower. So more data showing you consumers are not okay. This is not a sustainable situation. It's shocking to me why so many people think it is. And it's not just median family income. It's the personal savings rate that's in the gutter as well. So we're making less money. And as a result, we can't even save money. Remember, you guys, in 2019, we were saving at 6.4. Right now, we're at 3.2. We were saving at a rate of double in 2019. So in just 4 years, we've lost that ability. So we're not making any money. So we don't have any growth in money. We don't have a way to save. And all of that is being replaced by credit card debt. Consumers are just, you know what? Consumers are spending to the end. We see it. It's here. It's here. They're not saving money. They're spending to the end. Now it's starting to plateau finally. And that plateau in debt is, again, it's meaning to me that that things are becoming exhausted and there's really nowhere else for people to turn. As far as prices still going up, the debt situation right now is insane. And remember, you guys, student loans haven't really even started yet because it doesn't hurt your credit until October. Now, the issue with this debt is people stopped paying it. Okay, so the delinquency rate is surging. The trajectory is skyrocketing. We're at 3.16 delinquency rate. When people stop paying their bills, the amount of pressure that puts on the banking system is enormous. And so the thing is, guys, if the banking sector goes, it's almost like a slam dunk. Yeah, we're going to have price decline. But also, if we have layoffs, we're going to have price decline as well. Now, I want to try something new today. I really want you guys to share with me and all the other viewers of Real Estate Mindset, what have you seen in the labor market? Comment below if you know anyone or have experienced yourself job loss. But what I really want to know is I already know that the private sector is getting crippled. Small businesses are getting crippled. I know that. But what I'm really interested, if you guys can share what you know, how, like if you know someone that lost their job, how long did it take for them to get a new job? And there lies the problem. We have a gig labor market, meaning Uber Eats, DoorDash. When recession happens and people stop spending their money because it's ending, we see it's not really sustainable, those gig jobs are going to go down, and it's going to be a double whammy because we're already losing full-time jobs. The reason the labor market looks so solid is all that's happening is the government is replacing private jobs with government jobs. Up to 25% of new jobs have been from the government. It should be under 5%. And so there's all these things happening and all these headlines, things are great. But remember as well, it's an election year. And so I don't trust the data. I have seen multiple data sets that have been revised. But my point in telling you guys all this, and here's the solution. If you're a young kid or if you just lost your job, I'm going to tell you guys how I had to get a job. First of all, make sure you have a good resume. Resumes are supposed to be full of colorful languages and adjectives. Don't get lazy. Have fun making a resume. But a lot of people make a resume. Actually, not as much as I'd like. But in addition to a resume, one thing you could do to really stand out is include something called a cover letter. A cover letter is basically just you writing a letter to someone you want to work for and explaining why you want to work for them and why you would be an asset. Okay, so that's your cover letter. And then the third thing that I would do, this is how I used to get hired. I also included letters of recommendation. So if you're in good standing with the previous employer or wherever you used to work, ask your manager or ask your company to write you a letter of recommendation. Because again, when we have a downturn and when it's really hard to get a job, that letter of recommendation, it may be the difference in you getting a job and the other person that's competing against you not. So take it seriously is my point. Now, again, one other thing I really hope you guys are getting, save your money. Save your money and rebudget right now before it's too late. It's not too late. I'm not saying it's too late, but what I am saying is please don't wait for the headlines. Do something about what's happening right now. Increase your purchasing power, credit, income, assets. And other than that, guys, I really appreciate you following along with me. I appreciate you tuning into this video. I'm really excited to see the comment section. I really want to know, do you know someone that was laid off? How long did it take them to get their job? And what market and industry are you talking about? So if you can share that with me below, I would appreciate that. Don't forget to like this. If you need any help with commercial loans, I do have a link in the description to a form. Fill it out, send it to me. I have a free home buying class as well. I have a free subdivision analysis form. Check the description. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know I wish you luck and I hope you win.